There we go. If you're a man over 30, you've probably come to this realization that you're not far ahead in life. You're thinking to yourself, I should be further ahead than I am right now. But there's just one problem that's stopping you from getting there. And that problem is alcohol. Because the truth is, every time you take a step forward, alcohol keeps dragging you back. You're not getting any younger and you've got a lot more responsibilities now. But the worst thing of all is that you feel like you're running out of time. This might start to feel uncomfortable, but please stay with me. Because that was me after I turned 30. And now I'm 5 years sober. Even someone like Bradley Cooper, before he became the person he is today, was someone who was struggling through life. He was a guy who was going nowhere, just numbing himself, just like you. But at 29, he decided to quit alcohol, and that is where his life took off. And I'll get to that later, because it proves a powerful point about men and alcohol that nobody wants to talk about. Why? Because they want you stuck. They want you lazy, they want you broke, and they want you stuck in the system. I've linked a free training video below that's helped me get 5 years sober and others in the process. It helps. It works, it's free. I'll leave the link below in the description. Check it out. Here's something most men don't realize, and you're gonna like this. As men, our value isn't given to us, it's built. Take women, for example, between the ages of 18 and 24. If they're relatively good looking, they're worth like $10 million. Every man wants to date them. They can go on Instagram, put pictures up, get brand deals, become influencers. The doors are just open for them. And for men, we don't get that. At the age of 18, we literally have nothing to offer the world. We earn our worth through direction, discipline, and building character. That's why men peak later on in life, but only if you build something or become someone. And this is where alcohol destroys most men. Because while your body ages, alcohol keeps your mind stuck. You mature in age, but not with your identity. That's why so many men in their 30s feel like they're done. They get fatter, they have less energy, they feel dreadful when they're hungover. I used to work with a guy, right? Early 30s, and he used to just show me pictures on his phone. He'd be like, oh, look, this is me when I'm 18, look at my six pack. And I'm just thinking, I'm mid-30s, you're early 30s. Like, stop reminiscing. You can get that back now. Look at Bradley Cooper. Before he started thriving, he was just drifting through life. I've spoken about this before. Yes, he was in Hollywood, but he'd been in one episode of Sex and the City when he was like 29. He said that no girls would look at him. He couldn't get any jobs. He was turning up to auditions hungover. But he decided early on, just like me, that he'd had enough. And at 29, he completely eliminated alcohol and drugs. I've got a full video that I did on this as well, so I'll leave the video link below. Anyway, after he quit at 29, his whole life trajectory just went up. That is not a coincidence. That is what happens when you quit alcohol. The moment that you stop numbing yourself, that is the moment that age starts working for you, not against you. And this point you're gonna like. James Sexton, I think I was watching a video of his the other day. He's like this famous divorce lawyer in America. And he actually stated that there are studies that younger women prefer older men.
I think what the currency and the economy of dating we find appealing about people, men tend to value beauty quite a bit. They tend to value, a beautiful younger woman. And again, not all men, not all younger women or older women, but this is a trend that anyone who denies it is kidding themselves. And women tend to like financial security, stability, maturity, and emotional vocabulary. I think a lot of men don't really develop into a full version of ourselves with an emotional vocabulary until we reach a certain later age. Maybe at that point,
Why? Because they're drawn to men who have composure, direction, and status. But here's the catch. They're attracted to older men who have built something. I'm so passionate about this topic. From someone, I'm going off script, but from someone who just wasted their 20s, going to prison, getting into fights, just living paycheck to paycheck. Come on, man. We are going for redemption here. 30s, 40s, 50s, alcohol-free, let's go. I'll give you another example. Charlie Kirk, rest in peace. But he was a guy who was very successful. I think he was like 31. He achieved great things. Awesome talker, brilliant debater, never drank alcohol, not a drop. Why? Because most high-functioning men figure something out that most men don't. And it's that alcohol doesn't make you social, it makes you average. When I was 20, I thought I had time. I was just wasting weekends, doing the same thing on repeat, telling myself that I would someday get rich and I would stop doing this soon. But soon doesn't exist for a man who drinks. You just loop the same life on repeat. Years, decades go by without change. Then I hit 30 and I don't know why it happened, but I had this massive reality check. There is nothing worse than being a man with potential who restarts his life every single Monday. The truth is, I wasn't failing because I lacked opportunity. I was failing because every time I made progress, alcohol kept dragging me back. My moment came on a Sunday afternoon in the bush in Australia, living in a caravan park, doing electrical work for some bogan company. We'd been out Friday, Saturday, it was Sunday afternoon. We were doing things that we shouldn't have been doing, not gay stuff, I mean like line stuff, alcohol, smoking, no sleeping. And I just looked at my friend and I said to him, I'm done. And he was just like, what do you mean you're done? I said, I'm done. No more drinking, no more drugs, no more smoking. And I stopped. The thing that struck me was I was 30 and I thought, I've been doing this since I was like 16. If I keep doing this for another 15 years, I could be 45, still living like this. And I wasn't prepared to piss my life down the toilet. I just wasn't prepared to do that. Can you imagine being like 40 or 50, being overweight, can't travel, can't get the car you want, can't get the woman that you want, or can't keep the woman that you want, and you're just thinking, damn, I wish I was in my 30s, I wish I quit drinking. And that is what struck me, and now I'm 5 years sober. And what I figured out was, when a man in his 30s gets sober, something powerful happens. Your age starts to become an advantage. Your focus sharpens. Your urgency increases. You stop chasing cheap dopamine and nights out, meaningless sex with girls who you're not going to spend the rest of your life with. And you start building something for the future. And that is where everything changes. Younger men can't compete with you. Younger women look at you. And your future stops becoming something you dread and something you enjoy looking forward to. If you're a man over 30 and you're still drinking, then yeah, you might be a little bit behind. But the second you remove alcohol, life and your age starts working for you. Because for men, life doesn't end at 30, it starts at 30. I always say, no craving, no problem, and I have a full video that you can watch here.